this is Miss Andrea with Not Another Homeschool Vlog. You have questions? I have tea. Let's get started. This parent wants to know which homeschool curriculums are accredited. They can't find anyone to tell them, yes, I'm accredited, or no, I'm accredited. So they're saying, is BJU Press accredited? Is Dr. D Math accredited? Is Abeka accredited? And the answer is none. Curriculums are not accredited. Schools are accredited. So you will find accredited homeschool curriculums, and that's what they'll call themselves, but they're actually online private schools. Any program that says they're accredited homeschool curriculum is actually an accredited online private school. And so what you'll get is an option. They'll say, you can use our curriculum non-accredited or accredited. And then you'll see a huge price difference because the non-accredited is just you using the curriculum, and the accredited is you using the curriculum and their teachers. So curriculum is not accredited. Homeschool programs, schools can be accredited, in which case they are essentially a private school. You may or may not know that I finally decided, and you've seen me go back and forth over this, to get my homeschool program accredited because I get a weekly email or phone call for parents looking for accreditation because they never expected to have to homeschool, but things aren't just going well with, the panini out there, the pandemic. So me and my business partner have agreed that we're going to go ahead and get our master's degrees. Semester 1 down, I got A's in both classes, 5 more semesters to go. And once we get our master's degree, then we will get our program accredited so that we can also offer, do you want to use our curriculum or do you want to use our curriculum with our private school accreditation? We don't really believe that accreditation is necessary, but we understand the need in the community, and our not-for-profit is here to serve the community's needs. So please keep in mind, curriculums are not accredited, schools are. Can I add anything to that? So the reason that people are asking if you're accredited, or if your program is accredited, or if your curriculum is accredited, because people know that they want to put their children back in public school. And this becomes a problem because public schools do not have to accept your word that you homeschooled your children in excellence. They want to see accreditation. They want to see that your child took an accredited class. Homeschooling is not accredited. So if you choose to homeschool, then you're choosing to take your child out of that accredited environment if in fact your school is accredited. Because what people don't realize is that there are a lot of school systems in the United States that actually aren't accredited either, because they've lost their accreditation for one reason or another. So what my advice is if you're going to return your child to school, you need to return them at specific times. I know a lot of parents who put their kids in private school in 7th grade and then transitioned them back to public school in 8th grade, or just kept them in private school, because private schools are more likely to accept your word that your children homeschooled well than a public school will. And they're more willing to test your children just to see, or ask the school to test your child, or get private testing, get paperwork to prove that your child is ready for the grade that you want your child put back in. If you start homeschooling, I'm sorry, my eyes itch. If you start homeschooling your child in ninth grade and you decide you want to put them back in school for 10th grade, they're going to put your child back in ninth grade unless you prove that your child has accreditation. Ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. Schools graduate based on accredited credits. And so you just saying my child is in this grade doesn't count. There's just a certain number of classes and disciplines that your child has to cover in high school. And that's just very important for them to fulfill. But there are ways to get your child's homeschooling accredited, and that would be through credit recovery. Public schools have online credit recovery courses that they do during the summer, and basically it's just a quick review and then a test through of each subject. So if you have someone who you homeschooled in ninth grade and you want them to go to public school for 10th grade, they took ninth grade algebra, ninth grade language, ninth grade science, maybe biology, and then like, I don't know, European history. You go to your state or county's online summer school credit recovery and you pay a lot of money to enroll your child in those classes credit recovery because your child's already done the work. It's just a quick review and then a test out. And now you've proven that your child is ready for those courses. They're not going to let you put an 11th grader in and test through 3 years. Other ways that you can show that your child has earned these credits is through something called CLEP exams, which test your children through the subject matter your children have covered at a college level, and it's really not that hard for a high schooler to pass. Or you can also go to local private schools and get your children into AP tests. But there needs to be paperwork, there needs to be a paper trail that has some level of accreditation to it to get your kids back into school. But homeschooling by and large is not accredited. Doesn't mean your children can't get into college, but because they absolutely can. Homeschoolers are accepted into college with scholarships every year, but they may not be accepted back into high school. Also, if you have a 10th grader who you've been homeschooling, who is ready to go back to school, skip high school. Go right to college. Colleges will take, if your child can hit a median score on the SAT or ACT, they'll take them as dual enrolled, and that gives them high school and college credits. So, I hope that was useful. This is a conversation that I've been embroiled in online, so I'm gonna go ahead and tell you about it without giving too much personal information. This person says, my 6-year-old was in a small private Christian school and I chose to pull them out and start homeschooling them directly for my own personal and spiritual reasons. The tuition contract was for 12 months, so they offered to allow me to school her from home using their curriculum. And so they've been sending like 12 pages of each subject home every week. And she feels like it's too much and she just wants to go ahead and homeschool her directly. Is she doing the child a disservice by doing that? Once again, as a homeschooling parent, if you are a homeschooler and not a private school, then you're in charge. If your child's in a Christian private school, now you need to file your DOI, right? You need to file your homeschool paperwork and start homeschooling. But here's the argument that's happening right now. people are more worried about the fact that she is in a 12-month contract, which means the amount of the private school tuition for the year was divided into 12 months. And so she had to pay for 12 months every month. And because she's decided to pull her child out at month 6, everyone thinks that she should not have to pay. Not everyone, but several people. And she's been advised with things such as tell them you're moving to a different state, because that's one way to get out of these contracts. Just be dishonest and tell them, that you can't homeschool with them, so they should let you out of the contract. And people are like, you're in a Christian you're in a Christian private school program. You want to homeschool them yourselves for Christian reasons, but you're doing something very unchristian. And I agree. But there's a deeper problem here, is that tuition isn't by the month. Tuition is by the year. And the reason tuition is by the year is because when schools are preparing for the year, they enroll early. You notice the schools are pretty much done enrolling by March, April. And that is so that they can determine how many teachers they need. They can determine what materials they need. They can determine their costs, and they can hire appropriately. And they're using their enrollment as a barometer on who they can hire and how much supplies they can buy. And so when you agree to enroll in a private school, you are agreeing to that year. You're agreeing to help pay for a teacher's salary for that year. And this is the reason that I didn't take on more homeschool families when everyone left school for COVID, because I knew that this was temporary and that at any point in the year, parents would want to pull out. And then whatever teachers I hired or whatever resources I paid for, I would be left in a lurch, and I'd probably end up bankrupt, from doing that. So if you told a school, if you enrolled and paid your deposit and signed a contract, you're beholden to that contract. You don't have to bring the child back there, but you have to pay the contract. In good conscience, you have to pay the contract. Now, if you're moving to New Orleans, which I did when my son was in pre-K, nope, I paid. No, I didn't. I was moving from upstate New York to New Orleans, and I went to the Catholic school and said, we need to move. Dad's got a job in New Orleans. And they were like, fine. And they let us out of the contract because that's the right thing to do for them, to make exceptions. But don't lie about the exception. It's not cool. Like you want children to be Christian, then you need to teach them how to do Christian by doing the right thing. Like, you're hurting a business by doing that.